Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. I thought we'd have a closer look at some of the Tarantulas species, the OBTs. There's been a lot of talk about these lately, and I've been getting a lot of questions about them. So I thought maybe we could have a little delve into the world of the OBT, and we can have a look at some of these beautiful African baboon spiders. Now we got 4 here to take a look at, and I think what we'll do is we'll take the lids off and we'll have a little close-up look at them in their boxes, where hopefully they're actually going to sit still and do their own thing. And then I thought, just for a bit of fun, what we'll do is we'll get our piece of bark out and we will try and get each one out onto the piece of bark and have a close look, a real in-depth look at each one, and have a little chat about them. Now, as you all know, the baboons, the OBTs, they're a large group, and it's not only the Tarantulas. We've got the Harpactira as well. These are baboons as well. So there's many different types of baboon. But one of the general things about the baboons is they are not the easiest in the world to deal with. Many of them are very defensive. They're very quick to bite. So these are not a beginner spider by any means. You need to be relatively comfortable with what you're doing and how you're handling them, and try not to have a meltdown if it all goes wrong, which hopefully we are going to demonstrate today, that if we handle them gently and carefully, hopefully we can keep that defensive behavior at bay. That's the idea. That's the plan. Now, we are working with camera ladies, so it's a bit like, you know, when they say never work with children and animals, we're working with camera lady and animals, and it's not a lot different, I can assure you. So you'll have to bear with us a little bit. And if you remember, the last time we done an OBT, the orange bitey thing, which we've got one of them here as well. The last time we done one of them and we showed it, she was rather slow in moving out of the way, and we ended up with our spider underneath the desk and well, underneath one of the shelves, and it proved to be an absolute pain to get it back. So hopefully she'll be a little bit more fleet of foot today if needs be. Right then, we are going to have a look at these spiders. Come over here and let's have a little look. Now this one here, this is the Caudatus, the Kilimanjaro baboon. Absolutely stunning, very pretty spider. So what we're going to do, we're not going to touch them, so you're just going to get to see them as they're sitting in the box, as they are. This one here, this is the Kenya, one of my favorites. I do love the Kenyas. I think they are very cool. Now, one of the things with these different names, you've got the Kenya, we've got the Kagoma next door to the Kenya. Very similar looking spider, very similar. And then over here, we've got the terror of all terrors. Yeah, she's quite keen to want to come out already. This is the orange bitey thing, or the regular colour form, the red colour form, if you like. I don't know why they call it red, because it's actually more orange. And there she is. So we've got 4 of them here. Now, as we said in the beginning, there's many different ones, and we have got a number of others, but just for the purposes of this video, we're just going to get these 4 and have a play with these and see how they behave. Now, I'm going to put the lid back on our little ginger lunatic at the end here. She's a very fast spider, very quick. So we've put them in these boxes here. Just because it's going to be a lot easier to maneuver them. This one here has actually been living in this box, and she's due to be moved out. So we're, which might explain why she's behaving a little bit different. So what we're going to do, we're going to put the lids back on now, because the last thing we want is our spiders entering each other's boxes, because that will spell disaster. Absolute disaster. So we don't want that. So what we're going to do now, we've had a little look at them like that. I'm going to put the lids back on. And I think what we'll do, we will start with the Kenya, I think. Should we do the Kenya or the Kigoma? Well, let's start with the Kigoma. What we'll do, we'll put that one over there. We'll then put that one there. And then we'll have the Cordatas. So we've got a little bit of variation, because the Kigoma and the Kenya are actually quite similar. But they often change a little bit in their attitude. Now, as we were saying earlier on, we've got the different ones. They get their names from where they come from. So these guys come over much of Africa. There's not much of Africa that isn't covered with a baboon spider of some description. So the Kigoma, the Kenya, all these different names, these are coming from the locales where they're actually collected, the location that they're collected. It's like the Kilimanjaro, they come from these areas. So they often pick up the name of the village or the area of Africa in which they're actually being collected from. So this one is our Kigoma. So as the name suggests, this is from the region Kigoma. Now, so what we're going to do, these are very, very fast when they want to be, and they can be very defensive. So we have to be ultra careful, very, very careful. They are more than capable of running up this paintbrush at the speed of light. So what we're going to do, we are going to be very gentle with her. We're going to touch this back leg. Hopefully she don't mind. There we go. We've made contact. Now you see she put that front leg out. That was a little indication to us that she is more likely to want to flee than she is to give us any defensive behaviour, which is perfect for what we want. So now what we're doing is we're just tickling her, because we want her to go up the side of the box. There we go. Find the wood. There we go. Once they find the wood, they often come out and they do a perfect job. Look at that. Is that just not super special? We've got to be careful, because we don't want to leave in the log if we can help it. And do you remember when we used this piece of wood for the centipede? And I said, it's a little bit heavy. We need to get a lighter one. We do need to get a lighter one. There we go.
We'll get you to settle out and then we'll come in.
Yeah. What we'll do, we'll get her to come round here. Get her to come back. Come this way, my sweetness. Here we go. Stay there. There. Oh. It's always a worrying thing when they go underneath, because I don't know where they are.
We can't see it either.
Oh, that's helpful.
She's right at the end there.
Right. So now she's settling down. Maybe now, if I turn her around, we can have a real proper look. Look at that. And you can see how well she settles in. That camouflage with the wood is just fantastic. So there she is, in all her glory. Look at those lovely, lovely white bands on the legs. These are one of them spiders that you really want to look at. Now you see what she's doing now? She's settling down. She literally, you see where she touched out with that leg, and then you saw the rest of her joints slowly, slowly settle down. She's almost covered her eyes up. She's in perfect hiding mode. She's in stealth mode at the minute. Now you can see there on the abdomen here, really, really pretty markings. And also they've got lovely cream toes. Absolutely lovely. So as we've seen there, we didn't get any kind of bad behaviour from her. You know, and this is because we take our time. So these spiders have got the most awful reputations. And, you know, some of it is very well deserved. They are very quick to bite, quick to defend themselves. And they are just very, very quick in general. If she decided to take off now, she would be on the desk before I could react. It would be really difficult to actually beat her in a standing start. She's so quick. But as you can see there, she doesn't feel threatened, so she's not behaving like she's threatened, which is exactly what we want.
Can you get her so I can see her eyes?
So we can see her eyes, right. Here we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to try and get her to walk up the log. I don't want her to go over the edge, because then I'm going to have to lift the log. Like I say, it's not the lightest piece. Right, she can feel the movements in the log, and you notice how she sort of hunkers down a little bit. So what we're going to do, we're just going to very, very gently touch her toe. There we go. It's almost like a wispy bit of grass. What we want her to do is just open up just a tad. I'm just going to move her. She's like, I'm actually really quite happy here. Why don't you leave me alone? It's got a foot caught in my paintbrush. That is through them tiny, tiny little hooks they got on their toes. See how, look, she is so convinced that she can't be seen. She's like, I don't want to move. Okay, we'll go the other way. Show us your lovely eyes. Here we go. There we go.
I'm just going to move this because we're blurring out a bit.
Also important we keep an eye on where she is. My fingers are right at the end. So you notice there how quick she was? We need to be really, really fast. And the thing is, we need to move fast, not because she's coming at us to actually bite us, but she might well use my hand as a source of escape off of the log, end up sitting on my shoulder, and that is not the best place to be.
Oh, I thought she was going to stop then.
Oh.
We'll come back up again.
She's like, she can't. I wonder where he keeps his hand. All right, madam, come on. Where are you? There we go. There you go. She stopped.
Yeah.
Now hopefully you can get a nice look at her there.
I feel like we're kind of a bit overexposed, to be honest.
Before we move in, he should be good there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try and get her back in the box, and we'll have a look at another one. So what we're going to do, we're going to open up our bra plast, and if you keep them like a bra plast like this, you've got that hatch there that you can hopefully manipulate. Now normally she will go underneath and straight into the box. There you go.
That's so quick, we didn't really.
Oh, excuse me. So that was the Kagoma. So what we'll do now, we'll have a little look at the Caudatus. I've got a right tickle in my throat now. So we'll have a look at the Caudatus. Now this is an entirely different looking in terms of its colour. This is very, very dark. This is a handsome spider. Now again, we're going to just tickle that leg. And what we're doing, what we're basically saying is like, hello, we're here. We're just looking for a little bit of life. Where she's been put in this box at the moment, she's like, I'm just going to hide. So what we're going to do now is when they're stubborn like this, we lift them up. There we go. Just a little helping hand. But look at that. The black in that is just fabulous. I mean, that is just, oh, super, super nice. Where is she?
I don't know my left from right for you. There she is.
Right. So there she is. Again, you got them lovely, lovely, like creamy white bands on the legs. Stop. There we go. Got them lovely, what? Oh, just hold on one moment. Got them lovely creamy white bands on the legs. You can see how we're stopping her now. We're just literally on the front legs. She probably half feels like she's crawling under something. You see how she's flattening herself out? She wants to get under that paintbrush. You can see there how she's completely flattened out. And all we're doing is we're just holding it there. That gives her a little bit of security, that. You see how she'll start feeling with them front legs. Look at that. Now, why we got her pinned down like this? Well, maybe not. We can look at that carapace, that beautiful abdomen. And you can see now, but this one is much more, there's more black and grey in the colouring on this one. Really, really pretty spider. And again, we're not seeing any defensive position at the moment. Look at that. Very, very, very well behaved. So what we'll do is we'll get her to back up a little bit, because there's nothing better than seeing them on the move. If we can get her to come up this way, you might be able to get level, almost like she's walking at you. We'll see if we can bring her towards the camera. That's it. Then we just move her very, very gently. There we go. This way. Look at that. She wants to go underneath and find the dark. And doesn't she just look absolutely phenomenal on that cork? I mean, that is so pretty. So hopefully now you're getting to see that when we get these really, really nice close-ups, you get to appreciate the colour, the tones in it. Absolutely fantastic. So as we were saying before, these are not a beginner spider. You know, you need to feel comfortable with them and see how they are. But that being said, as we've shown so far, there's no reason to be afraid of them, because, you know, they can be manipulated. You know, and as we're showing now, we're actually, you know, moving our spider to where we want it to be. So we're manipulating this spider, and we're getting her to do what we want her to do. So as long as we're gentle and we don't frighten her, we're not seeing any of that aggressive behaviour, that defensive behaviour. So we're going to see if we can just move. See how we just literally just touch her and tickle her. She sees that as just a minor inconvenience. There's nothing there to frighten her. You see, all she really wants to do is walk away. There she is. So what she's responding to now is the movement of the actual log. I do like with any of the spiders, whenever we're putting them on the piece of wood like this, it's always good to know exactly where they are. Because like I say, the last thing we want is them on running up our arm or doing anything silly like that. Well, isn't she wonderful? I think she's been lovely. So what we'll do, we'll move her over. She's actually once again shown that there's nothing to be afraid of. Let's see if we can get her in the box as easy as the other one went. So all we're doing is we're just offering the side of this up to the box, and then we want to turn her in a way that we want her to go. And there we go. Time to go home. Wasn't she just wonderful? Look at that. Back in her box. God, this is all going rather well. So what we're going to do now, we'll have a look at the Kenya. Now the Kenya is very, very similar to the Kigoma. But one of the things I find with these, we have got one that we're waiting for it to actually drop an egg sac. So we can't really see her, but she is very, very pink. She's got a real pink hue to her. Now this one is a little bit more active compared to the others. She's a little bit more on the move, a bit more demanding. But you'll see here, now this one has got a very sort of like a faint pink hue to it, especially on the underside to the legs. So we're going to do the same again. Just going to come in and say hello. So we just moved her out nice and gently. You see how we're moving her by not giving her too much of an option to go anywhere else bar where we want her to go. Now the legs on this is very pronounced. Look at that. I mean, she is something. You can see the dark markings on the carapace. Absolutely awesome. And you'll see there as well, by the way she's moving, she's literally moving under her own steam. She's in no rush. She's just checking things out nice and gently in her own time. And this is because she doesn't feel threatened at the moment. So what you can do now is we can move her a little bit. Very, very gently. See how we're turning her? Very, very gently. And there she goes. Definitely need to get a photograph of this one.
She ain't going to stop.
She's going to come back this way. Now what you've got to be careful of is you've got to always watch the behaviour, what they're doing, because she could at any point decide, I am going to tear up that paintbrush. So what we're doing now is we are just manipulating her. As you can see, we're still not getting any of that defensiveness. A couple of nice photographs. We don't want to go in on the bench, so we're going to lift that up. Gently, very, very gently, roll it round. There you go. Now she disappears on that darker bark. Where is she?
She's at the top where your hand is. Oh, sorry, babe.
Nearly lost it. Almost dropped the piece of wood. There we go. There she is. So as you can see there, me fumbling with a bit of wood, and I lost my grip of it. We almost dropped it, and she's still.
Chill.
She's hung on. She's still chilled out, and she is just looking amazing.
Oh, she could stay there just for a second. Don't move. Don't breathe. Oh, yes.
She is absolutely stunning. And she's doing a little bit of webbing now as well. Now it's an interesting thing that they can probably pick up where the others have been. She's probably sitting there thinking, someone's been through here. Another spider. So as we said, these cover much of Africa. So in terms of their care, they're all relatively similar. So they like it reasonably dry, but with a little bit of humidity. So I like to keep mine around about the 60% mark, and they seem to do rather well like that. You see how she's in the shadow there? That just settles her down. So like we're saying, we like to keep ours around about the 60% mark. So we will overflow that water bowl in a corner and just keep one corner relatively damp. And that will give us enough in the whole of the enclosure. Now, obviously, this depends on what you keep them in, because if we keep them in things like the Braplast tubs and things like that, sometimes we keep them in them for short periods of time. And with them, we are using less. So we only soak a small portion. So in the case of a Braplast, we would be looking at covering maybe 10 to 15% of it as a damp area. The rest of it would be dry. And as long as they've got a nice piece of bark to go onto, they'll hide. Some of them will sit outside on it all the time. They'll web up. All the baboons are great webbers, and they love to create a massive webbing everywhere. So they make a really nice display spider. And once they've done that, it's funny actually, we keep most of our adults in 30 by 30 by 30s because they look nice. They do a really nice job with the webbing and everything else. If you keep them in something even bigger, they can really go to town with the webbing, and they can look absolutely phenomenal. So if you just want one spider in one big tank, these aren't a bad bet. They really are very cool. Now, as we were saying earlier on, with the maintenance of them, generally speaking, if you put your spiders in there and it's set up home, it's not going to really want to come charging out and do anything. Most of the time, if you just, a little bit of vibration on the enclosure, just tap it, let them know that it's you that's there, they will hide away. They would disappear, and you can get in, clean up, do your water, do whatever you need to do without fear of them coming out. We take our lids completely off the top. We take them all off, and we've never lost a spider yet. But what we do is we open it up and we just tap on it, and they know that it's us at the door, as it were, and they will go and hide away. And as long as we don't disturb the place that they're hiding, they ain't going to come out. They will stay there all day long until they feel the vibration has packed in, and then they will come out and investigate. They have an absolutely awesome feed response, and she is just so beautiful. That is just so beautiful. Look at that. I've got to try and get a photograph. They have such a strong feed response, and this can quite often or not actually frighten people and give them, the fear of God in them, really. Isn't she lovely? They really are smart. So right, so what we're going to do now, this is our Kenya, and we're going to try and see if we can't get her in the box in the same way that we've done the others. So we're going to offer it up like that. And we're going to just gently give her a little tickle. She's like, Dave, I'm really happy here. What are you trying to do? Now, if they put a foot on the top, she will try and go over the top. Look at that. See, as soon as they get a foot on the top. Okay, come back on the log then. We'll start again. It's not a problem. So that one there literally was just a little bit too low. So what we're going to do, okay. Did that move a little bit too quick for you? Okay, all right. Steady. It's all right. What she probably doesn't like is the angle of the wood. You'll notice when she's on the underside of the wood, it's much easier to offer it up to the box. Okay, we didn't want you on there either, really. All right, okay. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to give her a second. We'll just let her work it out. See if I can do. Didn't want you going over there, did we? So what we're going to do now, we're going to bring her back round. Well, now you want to go on top of the box. Not the most helpful, is it, my love? Come on. All right, so what we're going to do now, what she's running for is she can feel where I'm trying to take the lid off the box. She can feel that through the desk. So what I'm going to do, all right, I'll leave her there for a second. I'm going to get this lid off, and then what we can do, we can get her to come back out. Here we go, come on. Come on out. So what we're going to do, we'll put that over here. No, we want you to come this way. You can see how they can be quite forceful when they want. There we go. Now go down into the dirt.
You said about the paintbrush, that was really cool.
You can see how they can manipulate themselves. Let's get rid of this because it's in the way. How they can manipulate themselves and move up the paintbrush.
That was good.
It really is quite incredible. So what we're going to do now, as she's moving about a bit quicker, we're going to get our catch cup. So in this instance, your OBT has done a runner and it's now sitting on your sofa or wherever. What we're going to do now is we're going to get her out of this corner, and we want her to come out so that we can use our box. So we're going to bring her out nice and gently. You notice by just having that few seconds calmness, she's settled down. We literally put our catch cup over it, see? So now she's actually caught. So you've seen us do this many, many times. We can push this in here like this. There you go. And now we're going to put her back in our box. Hopefully we'll try it again with the lid, because what we can do now is we can use the lid of our catch cup as well to try and help. There we go. Come back with a paintbrush, nice and gently. There you go. Back in your box. There we have it.
She was warming you up for the ginger girl.
She's warming us up for the ginger loony. Yes. Right. So that is our Kenya. Now, as you would have seen there, you see them little tiny bursts of speed. She was not giving it anything at all. She was being very, very relaxed and very, very calm. And even though she's come down onto the desk, we still don't need to panic. She can't go anywhere. So we just need to take our time. And you notice there, even though she wanted to go somewhere else and we were trying to change her back the way we wanted her to go, we still, even then, we still didn't see any threat display at all. So, you know, they are capable, but handled correctly, we shouldn't see much of that at all. So what we're going to do now, I know this girl in here is a little bit feisty in terms of she don't sit still. She's very, very quick. She likes to fly about a lot. So what we're going to do, we're going to have our catch cup ready just in case she decides to leave the arena all in completely. And we're going to get her out. Now this is the orange colour form, or the red colour form is often known as. And its most common name is the orange bitey thing. What a name to have. It's no wonder she gets upset. So This is the most common OBT. It's also the cheapest. The one that you will more than likely see is these, and they are very, very popular. A lot of people like them. We've had a lot of grown men want to give them back because they're terrified of them. You know, they have got the ability to literally put the fear of God into people, and they are much quicker, much more lively than the others, say. It's almost like they've had hot peppers all their lives. And all right, so what we're going to do now, we've made contact, we've said hello, we are just a friend, we don't want to cause you any harm. So what we're going to do now, we are going to just gently tease her, because we want it to go sideways. We don't want her coming back up towards my hand, because if that was to happen, I would literally just drop the box. But we don't want that. We want her to go out onto the log. She's almost there. She's testing us. There you go, she's out. All right. Okay. Well, there you go, and she's off.
That ain't up to me this time.
Well, there you go. There's our orange bitey thing. Now, it looks like Dave's back on the move. Now, as you would have seen now, perfect display. Oh, dearie me.
Running away.
Of how they disappear. Do you remember, camera lady, when I said to you, why are you putting all that stuff under there? Right, okay. Now, one of the fun things is we don't know where she is. Can I have my paintbrush, please?
Yes.
This is turning into one hell of a video. Okay, right. So, we're going to find out where she is before we do anything else. Now, if this happens to you, just be aware that you do need to, if you need to move a bit quick, you need an escape route. Right. And if you're moving bits and pieces about, be careful of your hands, because if you can't see her, you don't know where she is. Right, now I've found her. She is in the corner. Now, the downside to where she is now is that we are going to have to go right the way underneath, and if she decides to come back, she's going to come straight back towards me. So we're going to need to do this a bit carefully. A little bit carefully, actually.
You've got a lovely bottom, Dave.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm not quite sure that's what people tune in for, but all right. Now then, one of the problems we got here now is she's literally at the back, and she's on the floor, which is nice. But for me to manipulate my arms, it will mean that I won't be able to get out very quickly. So this is not a good position to be in.
I'm going to stand up out of the way just in case you have to fly.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'm going to be flying anywhere, to be fair. But right, so I can't actually move, so let's just get on with it. Right. So the trick is with this, is we just want to get it right first time. Here we go, we got her. Right. So here she is. She's in her box. We're going to try this again, my dear. Right. Getting a bit old for this, climbing around underneath desks and things. Right. Right then. Here we go again. Shall we try that again? Now, as you can see, we've had 3 different OBTs, and they've all behaved very, very differently. And I did warn you that this girl is very much the one that's on the move. She just wants to go. Now, one of the things that you would have seen there, it was a very interesting bit of behaviour to actually witness. One, the shelf here causes no problems to an OBT. That is no hindrance whatsoever. And you'll see the minute she hit the top, many spiders would run down the side or go underneath the ledge or whatever. Not her. She jumped. She literally leapt off, landed on the floor. So this answers 2 things. One is people are often saying about spiders falling from the top of the enclosure to the floor. This girl has just leapt over 1 meter off the floor, off the desk to the floor, with no damage whatsoever. They land like cats, you know. So for any of these sort of spiders, height is really not that much of a problem. The only time, as we've said before, where people have had issues with spiders falling from the top of enclosures is when they are normally grossly overfed and their abdomens are fit to burst, and they've only got to land a little bit awkwardly and boom, they burst. But for a healthy spider, leaping off of a desk 1 meter high is not an issue at all. As we've just seen, she hit the floor running. Now this comes to the second thing that these guys are very, very prone to, and which is why you will see when I'm handling these, if we get a situation where one runs away, I get out of the way, because the thing that these guys do is quite often on impact, on landing, they will bite. They literally bite. The minute their feet touch whatever they land on, boom, they bite and then they run. So I don't want it landing on me. So we have to be very, 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 very careful. So we're going to try this again. As you can see, this actually is another interesting point. This room, when I designed this room, I designed it to have the minimum amount of stuff on the floor. Yeah. So that if ever we have an escape, or for argument's sake, I don't know, sometimes, you know, I could be busy and I've gone out the room at the end of the day and I've left an enclosure open. As if, you know, I mean, it's not really going to happen, but you never know, it might happen. If I come in the following morning, I'm like, oh, the enclosure's open. I look in there, it's empty. It's so much easier for me to find that spider if there isn't lots and lots of clutter about. So I've designed this room to be sort of clutter-free, apart from this little corner here. So, but this is easy. I can manage this. I can look into it. So what we're going to do now, we're going to try this again. She seems to have settled down just a little bit. That's all going to change now because I'm going to wake her up again. So we're going to just get her very, very gently to take her feet onto the log and not the tub. Hopefully that little run around the room would have worn her out a little bit. Steady, steady, come on. Be gentle, but hey, calm down. We don't want her running up the log. You notice now as well, we're not mucking around with the log. Look at that, she jumps. She's gone again. She's like straight back into that corner. There might be something in that corner, I don't know.
Oh, she ain't gonna play with us, is she?
So, as you will see there, she's more inclined to want to go and hide. That's all she wants to do. We're going to give it one more go. If it don't work now, we're going to put her back in her box. We'll give her a little thing. Now, I can hear, you know, I can hear somebody saying, oh, just put her away, put her away. This is not stressing her out. If she was stressed out, we would see an entirely different spider. Now, as we were saying, normally with the others, we pick the log up and we move it about. The faster I move this bit of log, the faster she's going to move. And it's probably not going to end well. So we're not going to muck about too much. We're going to put it back on there. All we want is a nice little close-up, you know.
Pretty.
As you might have noticed, I'm also barefoot. I don't want to land it on my foot. Right, let's try this one more time.
I'll try and not move about so much.
Now you sit still. We'll see if we can't get her to. Be an interesting thing actually to see whether we could perhaps teach this rather nervous spider to not be so nervous. Let me just take that off of there. There we are. Now while she's sitting still like that, everything is good. But she will wake up and make a move. Now, as we said, this is probably the most popular of the OBTs and probably the one with the worst reputation. You know, these guys really can be a handful when they want to be. The males are very silly. They really are very, very silly. And they've got a full-blown attitude. The minute they mature, they are hell-bent on throwing threat displays and just being absolute stupid things. They're just really silly. So they're very, very defensive when they mature. And this can make it difficult when you're actually pairing them, because you're trying to get your male spider into your female without any trouble. You're also trying to not get in any trouble yourself with the male spider. So you really do need a little bit of room in which to play around with them. Now, as we can see now, she is actually sitting rather nicely, and she's settled down a little bit now. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get her to walk around like we did the others, because she's just a little bit too quick. And the faster we move to try and slow her down, the faster she will become. So we need to just be a little bit aware of her different attitude to things, the way she's reacting. That's what we're looking. We've got to be a little bit aware of that. And we're actually going to try and get a photograph while she's still sitting still, because that would be rather nice. Now, I have seen these guys literally just jump onto things that, you know, like you could come in with a phone like this, take a picture, and she will jump onto it. You've got to be so aware of what's going on with them. She's being nice now. So what we do, we're going to try, I think we're going to give it one more go. And we're literally trying, we're just going to give her a little tickle. Please don't run. Give her a little tickle. That's it. We want you to move nice and gently, because there's nothing here to bother you. See how we're just taking our time. Now, doesn't she look absolutely wonderful? So these all have their fans. You know, some people, they love the orange, others like the darker hues. They're just, oh, there's something else, and they really are an awesome spider. You can get some lovely thumbnails here. This really is a very, very cool spider. So, out of all the OBTs, we've pretty much worked it out that this is the liveliest of them all. So, if you're new to baboons and things like that, maybe instead of looking at the Tarantulas, maybe look at the Harpactira, the golden blue leg baboons, and things like that, because they have a slightly better temperament. Yeah, haven't got quite the same misdemeanor. But I think you'll agree, this is a stunning spider.
She's only a baby, isn't she?
They can get a little bit bigger. Most of them max out around about the 5 inches. 5 to 6 inches is going to be a large spider. To be fair, with the attitude, I don't think you want it a lot bigger. So yeah, she's actually doing very, very well now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tempt fate now. I am going to try and put her box at the bottom. I'd rather do it this side.
Yes, we can come over.
Try and do it this side because she's got less to travel. So what we're going to do, we're going to give this a go. I'm hoping that if we can steer her in towards this box, she will sense her webbing, and that will calm her to the point where she might just stay there instead of jumping straight out. Let's give it a go and we'll see what happens. Might be a case that we end up running around the room again. So we're going to come in, we're saying hello again. We're moving her very gently. And notice how she's hunkering down just a little bit. That's not bad, that's pretty good. We're putting a slight amount of pressure on. We just want her to rock over just a little bit. Here we go. You see that leg turn now? This is where she's feeling her balance disappearing. She can feel herself being pushed over, so she's literally moving that leg. What we don't want is a gap between the bark and the box. So what we're doing now, we're just going to move her very gently. Once her leg finds the side of that box, here we go. Now we've got to turn her a little bit because we don't want her going off the front edge. There we go. Oh, you're such a sweetheart. There you go. Now you see how she's found her webbing? Look at that. Look at that. She's just hunkering down now. She's like, I'm home. So what we're going to do now is just drop the lid on. And we're there. Always be careful when you put the lid on because if they put a foot up, they can get stuck. Just be very, very careful. Right, that was our RCF, or the orange bitey thing. Whew, well, didn't she give us the run around? But in some respects, that was really, really cool because we've actually seen behaviour there that these baboons are quite common in doing. That leaping off the desk. And as you saw, every single one of them spiders, we didn't get any threat displays from them. Even the orange bitey thing, the ginger ninja, you know, she didn't give us a threat display at all. All she wanted to do was get away from whatever was antagonising her or tickling her as we were, you know. So we've sort of shown there that if we can keep our nerve, stay calm, and just treat them very gently and move at their pace, you know, go nice and slowly, we can do it. Even when we got a spider that's made a complete run for it, leapt off the desk, ran and hid underneath the shelf. Twice, yeah, twice. We still managed to box her up, put her back on the log, and you'll notice how by the time we got to the third time lucky, she was actually quite chilled and she'd settled down, and it's almost like she's realised there's no big threat here. There's just this slight annoyance called Dave, and he's just starting to pester me a little bit too much. So we literally, she's like, hopefully, if I submit to this, he'll get it over and done with and leave me alone, which is just what we done, you know. It worked out really, really well. So what a great group of spiders, the baboon spiders. Now, as we said, there's many different ones, so look into them, have a look. These are not for the beginner. We must stress that they're not for the beginner. You need to have a little bit of thought about you, get some experience with some of the other things, and then delve in, because once you've got some experience, these are a spider that everybody should keep. They should all have a baboon of some description because they really are fabulous spiders. Right, well, I hope you enjoyed that little look at some spiders, and if you like that sort of thing, let us know in the comments, and we can perhaps do it on other different groups of spiders and maybe do something like that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, and don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I'll see you all soon, guys.